Ruben Amorim has been the manager of United since November of last year, and in that time has been one of the worst Manchester United managers in the first 49 games with the club, averaging a low 1.35 points per match in that time frame. To put that into perspective, Pep Guardiola has a points per match of 2.28, spanning all the way back to 2016 as the coach of Manchester City. Even Erik ten Hag, who was considered to have ruined the club's finances and the team in general, still at least managed a 1.84 points per match. Now the question that baffles me and probably anyone who looks at Manchester United is this: is it the manager or is it the players? Amorim was given essentially an unlimited budget by the board of directors at United, as Sir Jim Ratcliffe believed in the projected ability the coach had. Therefore, Amorim was given the summer transfer window to mold the lineup into exactly what he had envisioned, bringing over his famous 3-4-2-1 formation that he implemented at Sporting. It was a system that worked so well there, and they went on to win the Portuguese league last season, while also beating Man City in the Champions League 4-1 in what was viewed as the reason most teams wanted to bring Ruben Amorim in. Towards the end of last season though, United did not finish strong under this 3-4-2-1 formation, as expected. You can't blame the squad for any of this because the players were not used to that formation and were kind of rushed into it. Going into this new season, however, Amorim spent $300+ million to bolster the team and fill in the gaps that he saw last year towards the end of the season. Bryan Mbeumo and Cunha are filling in that cam/secondary striker role, and Sesko was also signed to improve on the lackluster goal tally they had last season. Bruno Fernandes, who is arguably the best player on the team, is underwhelming when stuck in that center mid role in Amorim's system. He most likely should have been sold by United when they were being offered $100 million from the Saudi clubs, who showed interest in the summer transfer window. But they would only do that if they could bring in two proper mids to replace him. Hjulmand from Sporting would have been a great option, who already is used to that role under Ruben Amorim, and the 3-4-2-1 at United needs 3 defenders, none of which Man United have in that current squad. Maguire in a 3-back system is like bringing a Honda Civic to a race with Ferraris and Lamborghinis and expecting to win it. He just doesn't belong in that spot. And by the looks of it, the only defender that really does is Lenny Yoro, who has shined in that back 3. So, if 3 in the back doesn't work, why doesn't Amorim change it? He is stuck in his ways and believes what he sets out will work eventually, which is one of the biggest problems for him. In the Premier League, it isn't always the case that keeping the same formation and same tactics will be effective in the long run. Amorim can be blamed for the recent matches as the 3 in the back just isn't working. After spending $300 million, your team should be exactly built around your playstyle or formation, and this team just doesn't fit it at all. Sure, United needed goals, but they needed defense way more than they needed forwards. Look at Rasmus Højlund, who United had before, and tell me why they had to sign Sesko. Basically the identical players, and that $80 million could have been spent elsewhere. Moving to a 4-back I believe would genuinely improve the results, as Maguire and De Ligt need some quick fullbacks to support them if they get stuck into a challenge that doesn't work out. United's offense has looked great with 3 in the back, they just can't put their chances away. Which in a way brings me to the second part of that question I asked earlier. Is it the players' fault? Yes and no. Amorim can only do so much for the players, and they do have some better looking build-up in their most recent matches. For example, looking at the game against Arsenal, you can see the promising attacks and dominant performance capable by the players, even if that game ended in a 1-0 defeat. The problem lies where you start losing to Grimsby Town and start to question whether it is the players who are playing poorly, or if the tactic is setting them up for failure. In my honest opinion, I believe that Amorim should be sacked only if we can get a good coach. Looking at Xavi, who is available, would be a coach I'd be happy to see at the club. A coach who focuses on developing from the academy as opposed to spending massive amounts on transfers to build up a team. The tiki-taka style Xavi would be implementing into this team would also be an interesting but similar style to Amorim ball, minus the 3 in the back defensive drama. On the other hand, I look at it this way. Changing managers every year will never yield a successful result either. I do like that Amorim believes in what he sees and is not willing to change it even if it costs him his job. I say give it 2 to 3 more games and go from there. He has had one of the hardest starts in terms of opponents to play at the start of a campaign. So if he can steer the ship properly against the lower table teams, the wins against the bigger sides will come eventually with time. A change would have to be made by the winter transfer window in the case this coach doesn't work out. Until then, give Amorim the chance to prove himself in times of controversy when everyone has given up on him. Navigating times of trouble builds character, and that is what the manager of United must do to breathe some light back into this squad.